Today, we are featuring the Book of Honor, Killed in Action from the Battle of Saipan, World War II by Dr. Romisher, a powerful tribute to the men and women who served during one of World War II's pivotal battles, and a behind-the-scenes look at how the American Memorial Park was brought to life. This book honors their memory and ensures their sacrifices are never forgotten. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited you're joining us today for a very special conversation. I'm honored to introduce Dr. Romisher, author of the Book of Honor, Killed in Action from the Battle of Saipan, World War II. Dr. Romisher's powerful work shines a light on the brave service members who fought during the Battle of Saipan and shares the incredible story behind the creation of the American Memorial Park. Today, we're diving into the history, the heart, and the mission behind this unforgettable book. Dr. Romisher, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. I am happy to talk about the Book of Honor. I'm happy to talk about the American Memorial Park, and I'm happy to talk about our victory in the Battle of Saipan. But I also want you to remember that there were many sacrifices by U.S. soldiers from the 2nd and 4th Marines and the 27th Infantry in order for us to capture, when I say us, the United States, to capture the island of Saipan, which was located next to Tinian, where the Enola Gay was able to fly from Tinian over Japan to drop the first atomic bomb in 1944. Anyway, I am happy to be with you. I am happy to talk about the Book of Honor, and I'm happy to talk about the experiences of Saipan.
Now, what inspired you to write the Book of Honor and dedicate it to those killed in action during the Battle of Saipan?
I remember 4 uncles who served in World War II. Uncle Roy Sack, U.S. Army, Uncle Frank Sack, Army Air Corps, Uncle Frank Simmet, U.S. Army, and Uncle Andrew Romisher, U.S. Army. In 1955, I lived in Omaha, Nebraska, and I was able to go to North High School and join the JROTC program. I learned to march, I learned inspections, I learned shooting, and I learned about the military. And it was at that point that I really wanted to know more about the history of World War II. And later, I was able to focus on Saipan as a major battle, one of many major battles in the Pacific.
Thank you. Now, why do you believe it's so important for future generations to understand the sacrifices made during the Battle of Saipan?
I really had no idea how many names we would come up with, but I worked with a team that included Guy Gobaldon, who served in the Battle of Saipan in World War II, and 5 other people helping me assemble this list of KIAs from the Battle of Saipan. We had to write, we had to make calls to Washington, and we had a lot of individuals giving us help in putting together the first book, which was donated to the American Memorial Park. And it was a real coincidence that in 1994, the Battle of Saipan happened to be a day the Rotary Club on Saipan met, and I was allowed to make the featured speech at the Saipan Rotary Club. And it was during this speech that I dedicated the first version of the Book of Honor to the American Memorial Park Ranger in Charge. At that time, it happened to be a gentleman named Tom Workman, Ranger in Charge of the American Memorial Park. It was this version that was converted into this book. However, this book contains the actual legal documentation that was used to allow fundraising for the American Memorial Park. So we included fundraising, we included the paperwork, and we included information about the listing of the KIAs from the Battle of Saipan.
Now, were there any particular veterans, families, or community members whose stories or support made a lasting impact on you?
Yes. The first person would be Guy Gobbledon, who was noted for learning Japanese and talking many Japanese civilians out of caves so they wouldn't die in the war or jump off of cliffs on Saipan called Suicide Cliff and Bonsai Cliff. Eventually, a movie was made about Guy Gobbledon. The second person that I am very happy to have met and had a chance to work with was Hap Halloran, Army Air Corps navigator from a B-29 pilot crew. Also, Hap was incarcerated and captured by the Japanese and came to Saipan for the 50th anniversary. I yielded time at the podium for Hap and Guy to speak, and I minimized my time. And I really appreciated both individuals participating.
Well, thank you. Now, how did working on the memorial and writing this book personally impact you?
Well, in 1982, I had the opportunity to work at the Sac Museum in Bellevue, Nebraska. I was the executive director for the Sac Museum Society, and my role at the Sac Museum was to build members, raise funds to paint the planes because they were sitting on a runway at Offutt Air Force Base, and the exposure to the harsh weather caused some damage to the airplanes. So I had a chance to work with the General Dacey to do fundraising to get the paint and supplies that were needed to preserve the planes. Today, those planes are in a beautiful museum in Ashland, Nebraska. If you ever have an opportunity, it would be good to visit there. I basically learned about fundraising, and I learned about how to set up a historical society of the American Memorial Park, which is on the poster behind me.
Now, looking back, what part of the American Memorial Park are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of being able to work with Ambassador Hayden Williams in getting the names of the KIAs from the Battle of Saipan etched in marble at the Court of Honor. Other people have worked on the Court of Honor as well, but I'm very proud to be able to walk through the Court of Honor and around all the names that have been etched in marble for eternity.
Now I have one more question.
Thank you.
Readers could take away one core message from the Book of Honor. What would you hope it would be?
I felt very good about the fact that we won the Battle of Saipan, but I felt very sad putting all of these names in alphabetical order and finally realizing what sacrifices our U.S. soldiers made in completing the win at the Battle of Saipan. If there's anything I want my readers to take away, would be the great sacrifices our soldiers made in the Battle of Saipan and how important it was to win the Battle of Saipan so that we could immediately take over Tinian, which had a long runway to enable the Enola Gay to take off.
Dr. Romisher, it's truly been an honor having you with us today. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey, both contributing to the American Memorial Park and in writing the Book of Honor. Your work reminds us all of how important it is to remember and honor the sacrifices made for our freedom. For everyone watching, the Book of Honor is available right here on Amazon. It's moving and essential read that we highly recommend you guys to check out. Thank you again, Dr. Romisher, and thank you to everyone who tuned in to be part of this important conversation. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Stephanie.